Tom Bevan runs RealClearPolitics.com. Tom, you are not an economist. I won't ask you to play one on TV, but you are an astute political examiner and analyst. Could this come at a worse time for President Biden or for Democrats?
No. It certainly can. I mean, when you look across all of the data that's available, including, as you mentioned, President Biden's job approval rating, which will correlate most directly to the outcome in November. But anywhere else you look, whether it's the generic congressional ballot, the direction of the country, it is all doom and gloom for the Democrats. The only good news for them is that the election is still 6 months away. But to your point, the administration is kind of trapped. There's very little that they can do at this point to try and turn those things around. Public perceptions have hardened. Biden is being held responsible for the rise in prices and mortgage rates and the like. And so I think, even though we are 6 months out, it's a situation that the Democrats are going to have real trouble getting out of.
James Carville, it's the economy, stupid. Great Wall Street Journal piece a couple of days ago. Americans will never forget how someone makes you feel. Is the president's stump speech that we saw yesterday, we're going to hear tomorrow out in Oregon and here in Washington State of, hey, it's not as bad as you think it is. I've got your back. I'm doing more. Basically, don't feel bad. Does telling people that how their feeling's wrong ever worked in politics for either side?
It is typically not a recipe for success. Telling people that what they're seeing and feeling in their daily lives is, as you mentioned, not that bad or doesn't exist. And that's part of the problem. I mean, Joe Biden, throughout his career, was known for being the empathetic, blue-collar worker, representative of the blue-collar worker. The problem that his administration has is that they have not dealt with inflation in a very urgent, empathetic way. At first, they said it didn't exist. Then they said it was going to be temporary. Now they're saying that it's Putin's fault, that everything is Putin's price hike. And that is just not selling with voters. So Joe Biden seems to have lost his touch with the empathy card. He can continue to play it and should continue to play it between now and then, because there's a disconnect between, what voters are seeing and feeling in their everyday lives when they, go to the grocery store or fill the car up, and what they see the administration doing on a day-to-day basis.
You combine this sort of impending doom of inflation. It's almost like the train going down the tracks, and it just keeps kind of getting worse. When it comes to the border, the train's going down the tracks and it's about to fall off into a big cliff on immigration. And that's as we look forward a month from Saturday. Title 42 ends. The Biden administration itself says there's going to be 500,000 illegal immigrants a month crossing over. We've got video of what 10,000 or 12,000 migrants at the border once looked like. That was the bridge in Del Rio, Texas, that turned into an absolute mess. How does the Biden administration deal with this? They are caught between the moderate Democrats who say don't end Title 42. These kinds of pictures ahead of the election are disaster for Democrats, and progressives who say you ran on being compassionate. The only way to be compassionate is to end Title 42.
Right, and that's something that Democrats are very much, at least most Democrats are very much in favor. But you look at a person like Raphael Warnock, who is no centrist Democrat. I mean, he's very progressive, but he's also in a very, very tough reelection battle this year, and he does not favor lifting Title 42. And so it has exposed this schism within the party at the worst possible time. Joe Biden, he needs to win over the middle, the swing voters and swing districts. Democrats need to win those voters over, but they also can't alienate their base. They won't win a midterm election if their base is upset or depressed or stays home. And so they're kind of in a catch-22. And the issue of the border and Title 42 in particular, couldn't come at a worse time because, as I said, it exposes this rift between the party.
Who's to blame for the southern border crisis? Biden, congressional Democrats combined 37%. Trump and congressional Republicans, do the math, that is a combined 43%, pardon me, for my dad who's watching and good at math in his head. I did not get that gene. This is the question. You say the 9 senators opposing this: Mark Kelly, Sinema, Hassan, Manchin, Tester, Warnock, Mastros, Chris Coons, Gary Peters, who's in charge of keeping the majority in the Senate. What is the way out for the White House?
Well, I mean, the White House said, Jen Psaki said today that the immigration system is broken. The president favors immigration reform. The problem with that is that nothing's going to get done in an election year. We can't pass immigration in Congress in an off year. It is certainly not going to happen 6 months before the election. And so I think the administration is going to find, if they do move forward lifting Title 42, that it is going to throw their election plans into chaos. Because, again, those numbers that you just cited on Title 42, very heavily skewed. Democrats very much in favor, Republicans very much against. Independents are the key. Where are independents on the issue? And right now, according to most polling, independents are opposed to this in pretty significant majorities. And so that's, again, you look at what's going on in places like South Texas, where Democrats are suffering greatly in congressional races, Republicans, and by the way, Hispanic Republicans are winning the day in South Texas. It's something that hasn't happened in 80 or 100 years. So this is causing a sea change, and it's only going to get worse if the administration moves forward with this. And in weeks before the election, you have these pictures, as you mentioned, of thousands and thousands of migrants streaming across the borders. It's going to wreak havoc on Democrats' midterm plans.
Yeah, you almost wonder if the courts could be the way out for Democrats and for the White House, because you've got these Republican governors suing over it. If the courts stay it, then it kind of provides them an out on both sides. Hey, Tom, it was great talking. Thank you, as always.
Thanks, Leland.
All right. Thanks for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.